What's up, guys? Jeff Gamble, Indianapolis, Indiana, and I am super excited that I was actually able to partnership with Russ Northup. We've actually known each other for over 10 years, looked at a lot of different things, actually been involved in a couple companies, but just recently I was introduced to something that I shared with him, and he was like, yes, absolutely, this totally makes sense. I've ran into people who have had this issue, and we're want to share it with you. Basically, we need a huge favor. We want to actually tell you about what we're working on, so if you happen to run into the right person, you can refer them to us. And the subject matter deals with credit repair, or credit, so it literally hits every single person that is over the age of 18 and alive. Some of us have better credit than other, and I personally, my story when it comes to credit and why I was excited about this is I made every credit mistake you could probably make growing up. I got married at 19. I ended up quitting school because I went self-employed. I went home and told my mom, who's a school teacher, my dad, who's a college professor, that I was going to quit college and that I was going to start my own business. And you can imagine how well that conversation went. They were pissed. But what ended up happening to me is exactly what they were scared of, and exactly what they told me is I ended up getting sick. I went to the doctor, I went to another doctor, and that doctor basically said, hey, guess what, you have cancer. I spent a year in the hospital. I ended up with 2 surgeries, 6 months of chemotherapy. In the end, I made it, but I also didn't have any insurance, so I owed everything. So I don't know, it was over $200,000 worth of medical debt. I decided not to file bankruptcy. I didn't want to throw in the towel. I wanted to get out. So I was like, what's the fastest way to get out of this? And the fastest way to get out of it was going into real estate. I was watching late night TV and I saw Charlton Sheets talk about no money down. Anybody can buy a house and you can make all this money flipping houses. So I actually started doing that. And I was pretty successful at it. In 36 months, I was actually able to bring 18 deals into my company, and I was also able to build a real estate company of 15 people, and everything looked like it was going to be bright and shiny and everything was going to work out until 2007 and 8 happened. All of a sudden, banks started closing, mortgage companies started closing. I got a phone call from a builder, and the builder's like, hey, we're going under. Those 9 deals that you thought you were getting paid on, you're not getting paid on. And eventually everything collapsed. I ended up in front of an attorney at 29 years old, just under $3 million in debt. It was pretty deep. And after he added it up, he's like, well, there's no payment plan for this, but you do have 3 options. Option number 1 is to get on a plane somewhere we can't find you. And that option sounded really good, but I didn't choose it. Option number 2 was to win the lottery maybe more than once, because obviously if I won $1 million, I wouldn't have even touched, the almost $3 million I was in. And option number 3 was to get on not to get on a plane, but option number 3 was to file bankruptcy and start all over again. And unfortunately, that is what I had to do. I had to file Chapter 7, and I had to wipe everything out, and I had to start all over again, which led me to super bad credit. At that point, I ended up with, I don't remember if it was 37, 38 negative items on my credit. I had a foreclosure, I had a bankruptcy, I had a car repossession, I had utility bills, I had credit cards, I had charge-offs, it was everything, medical. And I actually sat down and read the Fair Credit Reporting Act of 1971. It was long, it was ugly. It's really good if you want to go to sleep forever. But I read it. I read a couple books on credit repair, and I put together this free 6-step system. And I went out and I implemented that free 6-step system. And here's what happened. The day out of bankruptcy, I pulled my credit, and my credit score was like 400, just over 500. 7 months later, because of that 6-step system that I wrote, my credit score was a 691, just over 700, and a 729 was my high score. Ever since then, people were like, how in the world did you do this? And I've been helping people ever since, putting their credit back together, answering questions. That system's free. It's not what I came to talk about on this video. But I was known in the industry as the guy who helped people with credit. So in late December, 2 friends of mine actually approached me and said, hey, Jeff, we want you to take a look at this credit company. You have a lot of knowledge about this, so we want your opinion. And I said, sure, I'll listen to what you guys are doing. And they said, well, the company is actually called FES. It started in 2004. Out of Farmington Hills, Michigan. So it's about 14 years old. They said for the first 10 years, they just really did traditional advertising, newspaper, radio, magazines, billboards, those type of things. They partnership with realtors. And about 4 years ago, they decided to start an outside sales force. And that outside sales force started with a couple salespeople in Florida and Georgia. And it has exploded. The problem is they don't have anybody in the Midwest, and they're looking for people in the Midwest. I was like, all right, I mean, you have my interest. What do they do? And they said, well, their membership actually, it's a membership that packages together a lot of services. Credit repair being number one. Number two is they have a credit builder program where you can get a secured card, and then they teach you basically how to raise your limits and upgrade from a secured to non-secured. Three is they have credit attorneys on staff to help out with like litigation, payment plans, harassment. Four, they have something called Smart Credit, which is like Credit Karma, all 3 scores and the bureaus and updates. They have LifeLock, that's the 5th thing. Identity theft protection, which only makes sense. 6, a program called Debt Zero, which is very similar to the Dave Ramsey Peace program, where the snowball technique of getting out of debt and information on how to do that. Then they have something called My Care Plan, which is wills and testament, or a will and a trust, where they answer questions and you can figure out how to fill all that out and get that done. Then there's a product called Financial Lockbox, which is another service. Financial Lockbox is exactly what it sounds like. A digital lockbox where you're able to put every single document that's important kind of to start over. So if you needed your social, birth date, passport, financials, insurance, you could upload all this into one place with a passcode and a beneficiary. So in case of fire, theft, somebody loses stuff, somebody passes away, you could press a button and get all those documents back right away. Then they have a couple savings plans. They have a website to save money on for shopping. They have a website to save money on for travel. They have a website to save money on for prescription card, for name brand prescriptions, anywhere between 15 to 80% off. And last, they have an education site called Family Mint, which teaches kids about money. It goes in and does education inside of schools. That program put together was $89. I was like, wow, that's actually pretty reasonable for what's out there in the market. How long do you have to be in it? And he said, well, the average person, and I know this from actually doing credit for years, he said the average person actually sees movement to their score within 40 to 45 days, but it takes usually 3 to 6 months for most people to get to where they need to be. And since it's month to month, when you get there, it's up to you whether you keep it or not. There's a $99 one-time initiation fee. So $188 to start the program, $89 a month, and then when you get to where you need to go, you're good. I was like, okay, that's actually pretty reasonable, but I'm still pretty skeptical that you're telling me that this is automated. So I went through the program myself. I actually signed up with my friends. I said, look, I'm not going to market anything that I don't know works. So I went in and I got it tested. I actually signed up mid-December, went through the program, and clicked all the buttons, and the program just teaches you exactly what to do in what order and says, click here if you want to start, click here to pull your credit. My credit came up with 3 items that were potentially negative. So they've written a program that basically pulls out what's potentially negative. I went ahead and clicked the button and said, yeah, I would love to dispute these. And they said, great, we need 2 pieces, 2 documentation, 2 things for documentation, 1 for social, 1 for address, 2 different pieces of paper, basically. So I took a picture of those, uploaded them. They said, great, we have everything we need. We will email you in 2 days. Now, this was all automated. I got an email in 2 days, a packet in the mail a week later. It had all 3 packets to each one of the credit bureaus. All I had to do was take it out, sign it, and put it in the mail. And I forgot about it, really. Late January, I get an alert on my phone that says from FES. So I open it up. Financial Education Services says, hey, congratulations, we've removed 2 of the negative items off your credit report, and your score has increased 41 points. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. What impressed me most about the program was that it was actually automated. I did not have to do anything. And here's actually the email. I don't know if you can see this on my phone, but it's pretty bright. It's so bright you can't see it. That's awesome. Okay, well, I guess I will put that in an email if you want to see it. It was amazing that was able to be knocked out that fast, and it was automated. I've never seen anything like that. 41 points. My score was, good to begin with, but now it's way over 700, which is nice. So then I wanted to know about how to market it, and he's like, look, there's 3 kinds of people we're looking for. Number 1, we're looking for people who can sell that membership. Whether at part-time or spare time, we're just looking for people who can market it. So if you know of anybody who's looking for something part-time, here's how it pays. Every time a rep markets that service that's $188, they take $100 of the $188 and pay the salesperson for referring it over to the company. So you make $100 per person that you refer to the program. You also make an additional $12 off of their membership every time they make a payment. So out of that $188, they give you $12 on top of the 100. So it's $112 the first month and then $12 each additional month. You know, like I said, most people only make it 3 to 6 months in, but you do build a residual income with this based on how many people you're marketing to. So it's kind of great part-time thing. Market 3 people a month, you make $300. Market 3 people a week, you make $1,200. So that's one of the types of people we're looking for. We're also looking for people who can open corporate accounts. We work with mortgage companies. We work with auto dealerships. We work with real estate companies, financial planners, tax people, loan modification places. All these places can be hubs that we can set up. That's more of an outside sales job. That's more of somebody who has that kind of experience. But if you're interested in it, it's available. Get Russ on the phone. I'll get on the phone. We'll show you how that works. Last is we're looking for recruiter trainers. That's somebody that basically helps us build the sales force, gets us in contact with the right people. You can actually earn $40 to $185 for basically helping us find the salespeople for the company. You can also earn a bonus along with residuals from those memberships of anything they write. So it's kind of a phenomenal income. We just wanted to be able to share it with every single person that we know. Video is one of the fastest ways to do that. If you have any questions, please get back with Russ. We just appreciate you listening. So if you run across a person who needs it, or is looking for an opportunity to work with us, now you know who to get a hold of. Get a hold of Russ. If you have any questions that he can't answer, he can get me on the phone and we'll help out. Appreciate it. Have a great day.